Hello, arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggggy D's Arcade. Want to welcome everyone back to the channel. Going to do a video on my recap and my take on what happened tonight during the office party that John D was doing in San Francisco. But I went ahead and wanted to make a video this evening, kind of recapping and giving everyone my opinion on some of the things he said and what I think is happening within Arcade1up with these products and these announcements that may be coming very soon. But let's start with Marvel versus Capcom 2. That's kind of where he started this live stream. That was kind of the first big question that he had received. And he did say it's in Q&A right now. But he did not indicate what phase. You know, we were getting a phase, like we were in the single player phase, and then we were going to move on to an online phase. But we haven't we've actually got less information now. We're just getting, it's in QA right now. So, you know, we don't really know where they're at in the process. He did say they're working on it, but right now there's no announcement. There's no news on when or if Marvel vs. Capcom 2 will be online. So no real new breaking news in regards to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, unfortunately. But moving on, the next thing he wanted to discuss and was really important to anyone that was watching, because he had a lot of questions about Arcade1up and their plan going into next year. And he had kind of wanted to lay that out for us and give us a pretty detailed plan on, you know, starting with this year, 2022, his highlights. His highlights were the Red Cross Sales event. That was a little bit before I had created my channel, but I did know about that event and I knew it was very successful. They sold a lot of cabinets for really good deals and involved the community and actually were able to give that money to charity. So it all went really well and he liked it. And he also did say Code Mystics was at the top of his list for this year. He said they kind of saved the day with Killer Instinct. He did want to let everyone know it was a partnership, though. This was a collaboration. So all that information about this was all Code Mystics and had nothing to do with Arcade1up. It sounded like, from him at least, there was a part played with Arcade1up in making that happen. So, but he wanted to give Code Mystics all the credit for, you know, helping them out and getting this achievement done this year, because it really saved Killer Instinct and made it one of the big highlights of 2022. But he did want to go into some of the missteps and mistakes the company has been making, and he did say the online has been a mistake they've made and they want to get that closer to launch. I kind of found that strange. He said closer to launch, meaning that they're still going to release cabinets unfinished without online, but it's going to at least be closer to the release date, or you know, not necessarily the day that it's released, but closer to that date. So I'm surprised to hear him not say that they're going to make sure online's 100% ready by release date. But that could just be the way he said it. But he did say they're going to have a focus on it, and they're going to be continuing to improve their online experience for these arcade games. He did say he's hoping to also work with Code Mystics on other cabinets and using their middleware, which is what Code Mystics gives them, on other cabinets. Now, he didn't specify which ones those will be, if that's going to be cabinets that are already released or if that's going to be future cabinets. But it's good to hear that they are definitely wanting to work with them on future and other cabinets that they have. He did say some musts. So he kind of laid out bullet points on musts that the company needs to do next year. Number one being online, making sure that's ready. Also making sure that they don't use any more TN monitors, that all releases include the IPS monitors. Unique cabinets, so XLs, Pro cabinets, unique designs. Those are the ones that they want to move forward with. These ones behind me, they want to kind of move away from that and do more just different styles and, you know, something new. And I think that's a really good way of doing it. You know, change is good, and people are always going to want something different in their game room. Gets kind of old if you see the same cabinet design all the way down. And then he said they want to work on the online infrastructure. So just building that up and making that more reliable, I think is what he's trying to say. And then growing the community. So this is really important. I could hear it in the questions he was getting and how he was answering them, that he wants the community to be more involved. He wants to grow the community. He believes Arcade1up is in a unique situation in their business and how they're very close with us. We're very close with them, and we kind of work hand in hand to make sure this company succeeds and gets to where they want to be. But he did say that he wants more responsibility from the content creators in this space, that, people with channels much larger than me, I'm assuming is what he's referring to, but he wants them to be more responsible, because the things that they say, can determine, the way people in the company take things, like he had mentioned with Liv and the situation with her. There was a rumor that she was not with the company or had been fired from Arcade1up, and that was important, that he made sure that things like that don't ever happen again, that we are responsible and we make sure we have our facts before we relay any information to the community. And you guys have my word on that. I'm going to make sure that I get my facts straight and everything before I relay any information through this channel, so at least you guys will know everything that I'm giving you is accurate, it's fair, and it's fast. You're getting it quick. As soon as I hear about it, I'll make sure that I'm getting it to you guys as quick as I can, but not at the expense of giving you information that's not accurate. But there's also another note he had made, that Arcade1up wants to improve the accuracy or the authenticity of these cabinets. But he did say they run into some hurdles in the way that there are logos and certain artwork and things that they are not going to have legal rights to use. So he does like the modding community. The modding community plays a large part because they can kind of fill in those gaps where you guys can go get your marquees, aftermarket marquees, with the logos you want, the artwork that you want, that they necessarily at Arcade1up cannot produce through legal fine print and things that they sign their contracts. So he did want to mention the modding community and how important it is to Arcade1up moving into next year. But also there were a lot of questions directed to John D about Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat 4, this movement of free MK4 has been going on for some time now. I've heard it hundreds of times. So I know they've heard it thousands of times. And they want to keep this going. They want to keep making noise, hashtag be loud, MK4, free MK4. They want that to continue, because the more that we say it, the more the company considers it. So it's actually starting to become a reality now that Mortal Kombat 4 could get created by Arcade1up because of what we've done as a community to move that, and to get that process going and get them thinking about it in these meeting rooms and with these executives at Arcade1up. So that's really cool to know that we have that kind of impact on what we're going to see in the future. And it sounds like number one on the list is Mortal Kombat 4. So we could be seeing that one soon. He did also say, this was really cool, was the Geek Worm. So there's this card out there you can buy called a Geek Worm 1.5 or a 2.0. Well, they're working right now to develop a way to make a dongle out of this hardware, which would then allow you to capture gameplay audio and video, just like you would with any console, like I do with my PlayStation 5. I capture gameplay and I'll live stream. You would be able to then do that with these arcade cabinets. So that is really cool and something that they're working towards. So if you guys see a board like this in the future, that may be something you're getting through Arcade1up officially. So that would be great. Now, he did also mention, this was one of the questions I had directed, and Kongs had brought it up on the screen, and it was about the Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. And then he had actually then thought, hey, the Tapper as well. That would have been my next question. And it was unique with the way that he had said that these cabinets are made and their purpose. So what we're looking at are just prototypes. And these will most likely never get made. Majority of them never get seen. They never get made. These happen to got seen through a leak. So we got the opportunity to see them. But these are the type of cabinets that are probably never going to happen, is what he's saying. He's saying these are purely made so when retailers come into their facility to have meetings about future products that Sam's or Walmart or Best Buy want to carry, they're going to have this there on display to kind of give them ideas and see what their thoughts are. But he goes, majority, like I'm assuming or just taking from what he said, probably 90-95% of what we see in these types of cabinets never get made. But it is cool to hear the backstory a little bit about this Miami facility and these leaked cabinets that we put so much emphasis and time discussing on are actually cabinets that may never see the light of day or were never even going to be considered. But then he also had mentioned things that he thinks are important. CES was very important for Arcade1up in their early years, the first 2 or 3 years of the company. But he also saw as the company grew that they were announcing that these cabinets in January was too early. That it was way too early and there was too much time between the release date and these announcements. So he wouldn't expect anything mind-blowing coming up this month at CES. He said that we may get some just small announcements, things that have been on the list to get announced but haven't yet. They're going to have to do at CES, but they're going to be small, nothing mind-blowing. So I'm thinking, maybe another countercade or something like that. Nothing great, it doesn't sound like, unfortunately, but that's okay. He goes, it's better to do it this way. He did say he liked Evo, though. So if you guys enjoyed their Evo announcement with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, they're probably going to continue with that. It sounds like he was really happy with the impact that had on the units sold for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and the pre-orders and the hype that it was created at Evo. So we'll probably see them continue to use Evo as a way to release and announce cabinets. So our big cabinets may not get released till then, which would be this summer. But he also had done some Q&A on the KI Pro. He does not have a KI Pro yet personally, but of course he's had his hands on them. He's been involved in making them, so he's definitely qualified in giving his opinion. He says the screen looks great, or it looks nice, 19-inch BOE, exactly what we wanted. He also said that the joysticks were okay, that the spring was good, and the trim doesn't look bad. So I have to agree with them on all those things. I haven't actually had hands-on to be able to play it, but it's good to hear that the positive reviews we see in the community from like the not hardcore Arcade1up owners out there are liking this cabinet. John D likes it. There's some room for improvement. There always is room for improvement, especially with a limited run like this one. There's always going to be room that they can improve, and they're listening, and that they were going to already work on, improving joysticks and sound and things that we've been saying with the KI Pro in the future, if they continue with it, or any other Pro Series line of cabinets that they do in the future. But he also said the stools and the mats, which I thought was interesting, was kind of a necessity because retailers, that's what they look for. That's part of their bundle and what they use to bring it into their stores. And they would like that furniture, that stool or the mat and those bundles do better within those retailers. And that's what they look for. So they're going to continue with that. And he does understand, though, there is a higher expectation at that price point. So if you guys have looked at any of my videos or watched any of my videos, you guys have known what I've been saying about the Pro was a higher level of expectation and responsibility with that amount of money. And he reiterated that in this live stream tonight. So it's good to hear that he agrees, and they'll be working on it. Now, also, this was interesting. So this Star Wars re-release we've been hearing about forever, it seems like. And this leak we got today, which is this image we're looking at, was the image we're looking at is a fake, supposedly. The item number was the original SKU number, which means there is no re-release. This is a fake. He also said they're not even beginning to work on a re-release yet. So there is no Star Wars re-release, according to him. And they don't have any plan on making one yet. They're trying to figure out which ones they would do that with. He did say eBay is important to them. So if a cabinet holds its value on eBay for a long time, or it goes up in value through resellers, that he is paying attention to that. The company's paying attention to that, because those are gonna be their potential re-releases in the future. But there is no Star Wars re-release. So I found that interesting. We spent a lot of time on this and a lot of effort trying to get the information across that this was coming, and it in fact isn't. So kind of a downer on that, but at least they're working on getting it right and making sure they're making the right decision on which ones they're going to re-release and how they're going to do it. He said online's a possible option, and he did say that they don't know what route they're going to go yet, if they're going to do online or not. So we'll just have to see on that. Also, he said Hydro Thunder was one that also Afterburner were a couple that were ones that he brought up that they may be working on in the future. So maybe a Hydro Thunder, he said, it'd be a stand-up. He said Afterburner is going to have a lot of hurdles and things that are going to be difficult with that one, obviously, because of the way the handle is on an Afterburner cabinet. It will shake, and you'll need a pretty solid design. So he said that they got a long way to go with those, but those are ones he's interested in doing in the future. And he also said they have the license or the rights to Hydro Thunder already, so they could go ahead and move along with that one right now if they wanted. So all really exciting stuff. Good to hear from John D. I love finally we're getting to hear back from him on these subjects and on Arcade1up. And you have my promise, John D. I'll make sure that any leaks or information coming from your company to this community is thought through and accurate and responsible on my part. And I hope the rest of us out there that follows Arcade1up and creates content for them does the same. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the evening. I hope you guys have enjoyed this recap. It's kind of like my first take, really. Not doing any editing with these videos. I'm just kind of creating them and putting them out there. And I appreciate you guys watching and commenting. Let us know what your thoughts are on this party at the office tonight in San Francisco with John D and Kongs R Us, and what you thought about it. And I'll see everyone in the next video. Bye-bye.